Now let's go to the schools of those who wrote the Bible. Some will say Moses wrote. I question that. How come Moses write about himself as a third person? He write about how he died. He write about his funeral. John, he was a beloved one, but he talks about John, the one who was loved by Christ. Actually, he confused himself in some cases. So you can see when you read the Bible, the book of Matthew, it's like when we talk about Baba sandwich.
Okay.
It's a name of the person who discovered it.
Okay, yes.
It's like nicotine. Nicotine, people, they think is what is in the cigarette. No, it's not what in the cigarette. It's the name of the person who was importing that powder.
Yes. And then he got the name, yes. So, the Bible is written by 4 schools of thoughts.
Okay.
Now, the 4th school of thought and the oldest is the Elohim school. Okay. And then you have the Yahweh school of thought. And then you have the Deuterocanonical school of thought, which is basically meaning the remembrance of the law.
Okay.
Deuteronomy, Deuterocanonical. And then the 4th one is the priestly school of thought.
Okay.
Now, the Elohim school of thought, Elohim is plural for the 12 gods. Is El Shaddai, El Tzibo, El Nisi, El Elyon, El Tzebaoth. Now,
in other words, in Genesis, if I hear you, you mean that was Elohim.
It's Elohim. That is
because even if you look at it in Hebrew, the word "let us make man,"
it is in plural.
God said, "Let us make man." You look at that word, God is Elohim.
Is Elohim,
which is plural.
Is plural. You say
how many gods?
There are 12.
Consideration again.
Is Elohim. Elohim is a combination of the 12 gods. Now each one is linked to each alphabets of the Hebrews. There are 12 alphabets. Now if you read Psalm 119, the King James Version, is divided into 12 paragraphs. Each one has got the first one of those alphabets of the Hebrews. Now these 12 gods, when they're together, they're called Elohim. When it's one, it's El. When you say my, it's Eli, like Eli lama sabatani.
Okay.
My God, why have you forsaken me? Now, that is why in Genesis it say, let us make man in our image and our likeness. So it's in plural. So it's a company of the gods.
In Psalms also, it talks about God in the company of gods.
In the company of gods. I think Psalm 82?
Yes.
Yes, in the company of the gods. The scripture was originally written in Hebrew. So where it said, in the beginning, God created, it will be in the beginning the Elohim or the gods, not God.
NgesiZulu ekuqaleni
oNkulunkulu badala umhlaba. So not uNkulunkulu wadala umhlaba. So this Elohim school of thought, it is based on the El Shaddai, Elohim. Now even the name of the angels, their name end with
Michael, Gabriel, Raphael,
Uriel. Now even the name of the prophet
Samuel,
Ezekiel. So these are all Noel. This is how you identify the Elohim school in the Bible. Those whose names end with El. They are not the same. And the creation story of the Elohim is wakhuluma yonke into yabakhona, right? And then you go to Genesis 2. You get another creation that God created man out of the earth, and then out of that clay he made man, and then from the rib of the man he made a woman. It's another creation, because Genesis is God spoke man and woman into existence. Let us make man and in our image and our likeness. Male and female created he them. That is Genesis 1 verse 27 now. Male and female created he them through speaking them into existence. Genesis 2, he make man out of the clay.
Sure.
And then from the man he took the rib.
Yes.
And he make the woman. Now this is another creation. It's different one. Because it's a different school of thought.
Sure.
That is separate from the Elohim school of thought. Now this is the Yahweh school of thought, which Moses also is introduced. That when Moses said,
he said
Genesis, yes. Remember he said Exodus 6, somewhere there. To Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are known as
Elohim.
Who should I know you as I am? It's Yahweh. Now the followers, those who
is introducing now a singularity instead of plurality.
That even is not even singularity, because Yahweh is two gods too. Is the male and the feminine. And then the feminine of it is called the Shekin. It is the feminine.
Which was an Egyptian idea also.
Israel, Isis, Ra-El.
Rasan. Isis, goddess of wisdom.
Goddess of wisdom. And then the El, which is a Canaanite god actually. The El Shaddai, Yahweh and El, they are not even Israel god, they are Canaanite god. So Israel does not have anything of its own. It's being plagiarizing, taking things from others. Like the story of creation, Epic of Gilgamesh.
It's the story of Noah. Let's little bit analyze the story of Noah. There are a lot of things that doesn't, when you start the Epic of Gilgamesh, which comes from Sumeria.
Yeah.
Now, in that story, there are three gods.
Yes.
Okay? In the Bible, they believe in Trinity. Three gods. Yeah. In that story, somebody was warned to build the ark because of what? The flood that is coming. In the story of Noah, Noah was warned by God to build the ark. In that story, there are story of super beings who came and slept with human beings and gave birth to human beings. Anunnakis. And in the story of Noah, there's story of giants, and God married or slept with women and produced giants. In that story, there is a story of Ijuba, Nekwababa.
Yes.
Elalkhisha ukuthi aliyohlola ukuthi asemanzi selokuzile igwababala ngabuya ijuba labuya labuya. The same story. Now, interestingly, if you trace it in the history, those stories you can't prove them.
Yes.
And then it's worse. Udo was instructed to build 300 cubit
ship, a boat.
Right now, indlovu iyodwa 12 tons. Imagine indlovu eziwu-2 zilapho ziwu-2 kushuthi sesina 20 tons. There are about 6,000, almost 10,000 species.
Actually, it's 1.2 million species.
Yeah, you're right.
Animals, younger than you
put them together. What are they eating for 150 days?
In that boat.
What's the smell? There's only one window. Only one window.
Yes.
Imagine if all these things pooing here, some weaving here,
some sneezing there,
some sneezing here, and let alone these things, some are scavengers here.
Yes.
They're eating one another.
They're eating one another. So you're telling me that for 150 days the lion stopped eating meat?
I was excited when I was in the Bible school. Told there's a proof Noah's ark has been found. You can Google in the internet. Now, what's the shape of the
Noah's ark?
Of the ark? Le anti-flat lapha. How could it be Noah's ark? Somebody just made it up.
Yes. they just made it up. There's a whole lot of made up stories that they make. The other time there was some archaeological digging. They come up with a very big head around Middle East Israel. But no, we found the head of Goliath.
Who knows the head of
Goliath?
Because those heads, they can be found anywhere
else. I mean, the Tel Aviv University in Israel, they themselves, they said that there is no evidence that there was a nation called Israel, number one. The second, there is no evidence that anybody who's mentioned in the Bible existed.
No, there's no tomb.
There's no tomb.
Let's make an example, to agree with you.
Yes.
Moses. How many people he let out? They say 2 million.
2 million,
archaeologists have traced and traced, they never find a trace of that there are 2 million
people moving out.
2. All the soldiers drowned in the sea. Egypt is number 1 in keeping record.
Yeah.
There's no record of Moses of the Bible in Egypt, but there are record of some Moses. Because Moses is something else, it's not what we are taught.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is no record of Moses of the Bible. And 2, Baba, we are told that in Egypt everything was destroyed, animal, everything, birds. And yet you remember the articles in Joshua, I think the number 5 one, it tells us there was nothing left in Egypt. Where do they get horses?
And
chasing those guys now. Where do they get
chariot and everything?
Where do they get those horses?
Yeah. So it's all mythology. It's all fairy tales. It's all legends. They have no historical evidence to prove that these characters existed. But everything that existed has got evidence. Got a museum. You know, Egypt. You talk about Egypt, you can start from the first dynasty to the last dynasty. Everybody, they say Imhotep, they'll show the tomb of him. Even Osiris, some will say Osiris is a myth, but there is a tomb of Osiris in Abydos in Egypt. But then you go to Jesus. No, let's not even talk about Jesus. You go to
you can't even find the Peter's tomb. Except the fake one.
Or except the fake one. So
the Jesus one, you go to where they claim is a tomb. There is another one. If this one is fully booked, they will take you to another
one. The tomb is fully booked. Yeah. So now we were on the second school of thought, the Yahweh school of thought.
Okay.
And then we get into the third one, the deuterocanonical school of thought, which is basically how do you identify that within the Bible? Is everyone who make mention of Moses, the law of Moses. The law of Moses said, Moses said, if you find a woman committing adultery, must stone her. One of the evidence that says the book of Job is older than even Genesis.
Yes.
Is the fact that Job does not make mention of Moses.
Okay.
Yet Job is found after the books of Moses. The arrangement of the books themselves. Chronological order. If they have to follow chronological order, the oldest book will be Job.
It's not like in the New Testament will be Mark the first one.
It will be Mark, not Matthew. So even them, they existed before the books of Moses, the Pentateuch. Now we got the fourth one. Now it's a priestly school of thought. Melchizedek, John the Baptist father, who all these priests, Zadok, Aaron, the Levitical priesthood. So it is emphasizing priesthood. So that is where you see the difference, that this school is emphasizing priesthood. This particular school is emphasizing the law. This particular school is emphasizing Elohim. And therefore the proponents of that will be all of these people whose name end with El. El, Daniel, Raphael, Gabriel, their angels end with El. The Yahweh, their names end with Yah, Isaiah, Obadiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah. So now if you find that Isaiah and Daniel are not saying the same thing, it's purely because of they represent two different schools of thought. Problem solved?
Problem solved, even the way they are grouped.
Yes, even the way they are grouped, yes. So now the grouping of them is Council of Nicaea, 325 AD. Council of Chalcedon.
That the one who took a decision, Chalcedon, they took a decision about original sin.
About original sin, it was Chalcedon took a decision about original sin. Up until even beyond that, because Chalcedon is when the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church separated over what they call the nature of Christ. Some they said he is born human and become divine. Some they say he's both God and man. He's perfect man, perfect God.
100%
man,
God, 100%
human. Now it's like,
what's that? It's a monster.
Yeah. If you wish, yeah, it's a monster. So these different council, until even the other one that decided to have the crucifix was about 638 AD. So it took a succession of conferences.
Actually, I think the last one will be 681.
681, yes. That is where they then finally agreed on the crucifix, to have a man hanging on the cross as a symbol of Christianity. But before that, they never had crucifix. At one time, actually, they used the Egyptian ankh.
Ankh.
As a
actually, if you look at the cross, it's the idea of ankh.
Yes, it's the idea of ankh. But the difference is that this one is a symbol of life, the other one is a symbol of death.
Of death. I used to preach about this. I fought the cross way before I became paradigm shifted. Because my idea was that if somebody killed my brother, how come I take the cross, the gun, one AK-47 that killed my brother and make it, I will cherish that only record cross. How do I cherish the gun that killed my brother?
And hang it around your neck.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. We are dealing with a civilization of death, that glorified death. And the highest symbol of the Christian civilization is the United States of America. You can't be an American president without being a Christian. Remember when Obama wanted to be a president, they were even disputing, beside him being born in America, they're disputing his religion. That because he spent some time in Indonesia and so forth, he's a Muslim. His name's Barack Hussein Obama. Until it has to be proven that he's a Christian, they got even his priest, Reverend Wright, to quantify that. You can never be a president of America without putting your hand on top of the Bible.
No, it was built on the principle of the
Christianity. Hence, it's a war civilization. Hence, every president who comes in must declare war, must go and fight somewhere, shed blood, a lot of blood. But this
Saddam Hussein,
Osama bin Laden, Muammar
Gaddafi.
We don't talk even about African presidents. I mean, France alone, which is another component of that civilization, killed about 23 African presidents, from the first one in 1960. Sylvanus Olympus of Togo, Thomas Sankara, all of this, Lumumba. Was, you understand? So they have to kill. But also the method of killing are very clear, that is human sacrifices. It is to create trauma. If you study the making of a slave, the Willie Lynch letter, how to make a slave, they tell you that uyangena la endlini lana umuntu angene lana, and then bakuhlabeng eklapha ehot in front of your wives. So they are transporting and transplanting trauma. They take a pregnant women, they line them up here, and they take one pregnant woman, they take out her fetus and they step on them. So the rest of the pregnant women, they're internalizing that trauma into their unborn babies. And then so these things were trauma transported through ritual. Lot of rituals. A lot of things that we participate in are Western rituals, like Halloween. Yeah.
Like that woman who was a leader, where they come the stole of Black Panther.
Yes.
They will shoot the leader in front of a community leader.
Like, for instance, why do you think they are doing what they are doing to Msholozi?
Oh, because he refused their orders.
But Msholozi, according to our social hierarchy, is supposed to be one of the great leaders, right?
Highly respected.
Now you take the greatest leader, a symbol of rebellion, you beat him up, you even lock him up, you do something that you have never done to Tiglek.
They even say they want to show nobody is
above the law.
Above the law.
Yeah.
Their law, not our law.
Not our law. Their law.
No. Because how do you traumatize an 8-year-old man
and lock him up in jail?
For what? What is he going to learn in jail?
They're not traumatizing him, they're traumatizing the nation. Through him. So that we can learn that you cannot rise against this system. and go scot-free. But yet they have one person today who goes against the system, who have the whole system protecting him. You can't see his records. They are locked up.
Look at now. Why there is no junk state in South Africa? Because this time we are west than
the time of Umsholos, yes.
How many times have they wanted to degrade us?
Yes. Where are the Moody's and the Finch who used to come and downgrade us? Why is the rent not dropping? With so much load shedding, are we not supposed to be at a state?
No, there was a time where we will lose how many million a day?
Oh, Lord, about 4 billion a day.
I'm sorry, 4 billion a day.
Yeah.
A day, 4 billion all the time. Because I got that on record. I used to teach people about that. You tell me there's nothing that we're doing good.
Well, this is all planned. Like the downgrading and the grading and the inflation is all controlled. So, but if we go back again to the designers of this system, the Rockefellers, the people who...
In my view... I'm not sure of Mbek, but I know with Utata, I know with Ramaphosa, I know for sure that those people were made. That's why, Baba, when I question the issue of Mandela is, how can I come and beat you as my opponent and you turn and celebrate me? If I really conquered you. These people, they came to kill us. They came to take our land. They never dream of us being in power. And then they made a deal with him, in my view, because when he came out of jail, he went and stayed with them. Who bought him the house? He will play golf with them.
There were more than 350, I think, secret meetings between Mandela and the apartheid
and Winnie. One of the reasons they separated Winnie, because Winnie was said we are over negotiating.
Yes, we are over.
And that's why Winnie died staying in the township.
Soweto. Yeah. And they have to use their Stratcom to demonize Winnie big time.
Yes. That woman was so embarrassed. That woman is supposed to be a mother of democracy in South Africa.
So they had to eliminate her. I mean, even to contest the presidency after Mandela, they had to humiliate her and withdraw her nomination.
Because she stick with Umkhonto weSizwe.
And she sticked with the principles that they fought for throughout apartheid.
Somebody said something very true. You see, like America. Why would you think Dada will say throw away weapons before we went about?
But yeah.
Why throw away
the weapons before
why
you even
throw away before?
Why suspend
these people who are our enemy, they are not throwing their weapons away.
Yeah.
Why?
But we are the ones who have to throw the weapons.
Because it was planned that Umkhonto weSizwe was going to take over, just like we had Amapunu who were taking over on the security and protection issues. Why would you think that? I even question what we call is COVID-19. Yes, as it's COVID-19. Yes, it's COVID-19. We call it that way.
It's COVID-19.
Yeah. So that they don't close our broadcast.
Okay.
It's COVID-19.
Yeah.
I told people, you will get this thing the day they inject you.
Yeah.
And that thing will kill many people. But you know what they tell and do now? They said, okay, DNA test is going to be free. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I know if you test your DNA with your wife, you took that jab, the baby is likely to not mesh with your blood.
It rearrange your DNA.
So you will come out and divorce your wife. I was telling people on Saturday, you will see the fight between men and women. Women will be saying, I know no other man, I know only a man will say, for sake you are lying.
And they are very, very obsessed with genetic control. Like they created the whole thing of genome and genetic manipulation.
The first clone child is born.
The first clone child, yes, is born.
Look, it's born in July, but this thing they put together in January.
Yo.
So that means that child is about 6 months old. In the womb, it doesn't even stay in 9 months.
Don't need to stay 9 months. Now,
same thing they do with chickens we eat.
the overnight chickens.